Welcome to class, everyone. Today we're going to have an option of practicing in a chair today. There'll be more of a focus on calming the nervous system and soothing the senses today, followed by a little bit longer of a time for some breath work. So if sitting cross-legged seated position on the floor isn't that comfortable for you, I recommend sitting in a chair, or you can even start the practice in a chair today, whether you're at the office or whether sitting in a chair is more comfortable for you. I'll give it some options if you're practicing on the floor on a yoga mat, and you'll have a couple of options from there. So otherwise, let's go ahead and find any comfortable seated position, whether you're on a chair or if you are on the floor, you might want the hips propped up, maybe with a bolster or a blanket. And the first thing we're going to do is generate some heat in the palms. And once you get some pretty good heat there, gently place the palms over the eyes. You don't want to put direct pressure on the eye socket itself. Just feel the warmth coming from the palms over the face, into the eyes. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose. Follow that up with a nice long exhalation through the nostrils. Relax your jaw. And let's do that one more time. Generate some heat in the palms. Once you've got some heat generated, gently place the hands over the eyes. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Go of any unnecessary tension in the abdomen or rib cage to allow your fullest, most comfortable breath to come in. Keeping the eyes closed, let's bring the hands down. Let's have the back of the right hand inside the left palm and your thumbs touching, arms, palms resting on the legs here. And we're going to chant the sound of Om 3 times. Now there's 3 distinct sounds within the one sound, and as we start the sound Ah, you'll feel more of a vibration in the navel center. And as we move through the sound, the oo sound, you'll feel it more in the chest. And as we continue with that sound, when we close the lips, you'll feel it more in the skull. So be sensitive to those vibrations as you're chanting the sound. Inhale. Slowly open the eyes. And if you're able to, you can go ahead and come to a standing position, or you can stay seated in the chair for this one. I'm going to interlock the fingers, press the palms up toward the sky, and do a little side stretching, a little swaying from side to side. Now you don't have to correlate the breath with the movement, but if it feels good to exhale and take that side stretch, you can hang out there for the exhale. Inhale back to the center. Just do a little shifting of the hip, move from side to side. And make sure you're not holding the breath in or out. So you still want to keep a pretty fluid inhalation and exhalation. And once you come back to center from that side stretch, We'll take the right arm behind the back. Again, you can do this while you're seated or while you continue to stand. You're going to grab that right wrist or forearm with the left hand. You're going to turn your head to the left and then let that chin drop down toward the collarbone a bit. And keeping the lips closed without feeling pursed, let the bottom and top row of the teeth fall away from each other. Be sensitive to the stretch happening from the jawline, through the neck, and through that front right shoulder. And one more breath on this side. Now the next inhalation, bring the head back, up and center, and then grab the left forearm or wrist with your right hand. That left shoulder stays back in space. Turn your head to the right, let the chin drop gently toward the collarbone. And check in with any unnecessary tension on the eyes, the jaw. Be aware of that stretch from the jawline through the neck and left shoulder now. And then on the next inhalation, come up and center. We're going to interlock the fingers. I'm just going to turn to the side here so you can see me better. Again, you can decide if you want to stay seated or standing. You'll have the interlocked fingers behind the neck. So you want to go below the base of the skull as much as possible. And then allow the head to lean back. The elbows kind of draw toward each other. And we're going to hang out here. Sometimes we get a little dizzy if the eyes are closed with this one. So you can have a soft gaze toward the corner of the room in front of you. If the eyes closed makes you feel a little like you're losing where you're at in space. I'm going to keep the hands there so we're maintaining that length in the back while we're working with the more extension of the cervical spine. So we're not compressing the back of the neck here, getting a little more length in the front of the throat. Extension in the cervical spine, to the neck. And then let's find a neutral position for the cervical spine. And then take your left hand across to the base of your skull. So you're taking your left hand across the chest and then to the base of the skull. So we have this really long, one of the longest nerves in the body from base of the skull that travels down the neck all the way through the chest and into the abdomen. So this affects our respiratory system, our digestive system. So what we're going to do is do a very gentle massage. So you don't have to use a lot of force here. You just want to use your fingertips to gently massage the pathway of that nerve. And then once we get down to the chest here, we're going to pause right at the chest, take a couple of deep breaths in. And then just let the hand go down the front line of the body. Few strokes there. And then change sides. Go over the cross, right hand to the base of the skull. Do a little massage there along the side of the neck. This also accesses some of the lymph, where some of the lymph nodes collect in the body too. So help. And massage the lymph system. And then once we get down to the chest, the right hand, we take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And a few strokes down the body. And then we'll use loose fists here, right below the collarbones. We're going to do a gentle tapping. And we're going to do a little sound therapy. So as you inhale, you're inhaling through the nose. As you exhale, or exhale through the mouth and make a sound. Do that 2 more times. And if you're in a place where you're not able to make that sound out loud, you can go ahead and just do the gentle tapping. You'll still get the benefit here of drawing the tension, the blood flow, and prana into this area of the thyroid, parathyroid, and thymus glands. One palm over the other, right at that space. Take a couple of breaths here, feel the warmth in that area, just below the collarbones, deep in the center of the body. And then we'll open the eyes if they're closed. Here, if you're on the mat, if you're sitting on the mat, go ahead and take any props off to the side and then go into child's pose. So the tops of the feet will be the floor, knees are wide, you're going to take the hips back toward the heels. Otherwise, you can do this in a chair, just by taking the knees a little wider, taking the belly closer toward the floor. Go ahead and relax the neck muscles, relax the arms. You either have them in between the legs, if that feels okay on the lower back. Doesn't feel great on the lower back going that deep. You can always have the arms on the outside, and that kind of controls how far you go into flexion in the hip. So either one, your arms are pretty relaxed, your neck muscles are relaxed. If you're in child's pose, you can either have the arms alongside the legs or arms stretched out in front. It's your choice. Either posture that you're in, notice how the breath comes in and creates this expansive feeling in this middle back area where the kidneys and the adrenal glands live. You just want to take a little more attention to the adrenal glands. If you're seated or if you're in child's pose and it's comfortable for you to reach back and do a gentle tapping in that middle back area, you can also do a gentle tapping there. And we'll inhale, use the palms to bring back up from child's pose for that deep forward fold, seated. Take a deep breath in once your torso is in a vertical position. And then from here, we'll bring fingers in front of the shoulders, thumbs behind the shoulders, and we'll do some shoulder rotations. Feeling that stretch in the upper back between the shoulder blades when the elbows go forward. And that stretch for the front of the shoulders and the chest when the elbows go back. Reverse that direction. Check in with your breathing pattern. Hands can rest on the thighs or knees. You're going to open the jaw really wide, move the jaw around. Right, feel that tension melt away from the jaw as the lips close back. We're going to use the palms now to cover the ears. We're going to just take a few moments, maybe 3 or 4 breaths here, just blocking out some of the sound from the ears. Now, as you breathe in, feel that resonance in the skull. Once you're done with those 3 or 4 breaths, you'll have the hands, backs of the hands resting on thighs, knees. If you're in a seated position here, you may want the hips a little on the floor. You may want the hips a little higher than your knees. If you're in a chair, make sure that you're sitting up tall and you're not leaning back in the back of the chair. If you're in a chair, root through the feet. Settle into the hips. And start to focus on the breath moving through the nostrils. Get in tune to the physical sensation first, the breath moving through the nostrils, but also see if you can pick up on any subtle sensations there behind the eyes, the cheekbones. And now start to pay more attention to the breath moving through your left nostril. Any subtle sensations there behind the left eye and left cheekbone. And now switch your attention over to the right nostril. Any subtle sensations behind the right eye and right cheekbone. And we're going to follow a pattern within the mind's eye. Some of you might be familiar with alternate nostril breathing. It's the same pattern here. We're going to bring the attention over to the left side again. And on your next inhalation, keep your attention through the left side. On your next exhalation, you'll switch it over to the right side. You'll keep it on the right for the next breath in. And then you'll take your attention to the left on the next exhale. So that's one round. Continue to follow that pattern of left, right, right, left. Observing the subtle sensations along the way. You don't have to follow a particular ratio with the breath. You may notice that after a while, the inhalations and exhalations start to feel like they even out. Again, the pattern is left, right, right, left. Mind wanders, or if you lose track of the pattern, simply start at the beginning. With the inhalation moving through the left side first. Do this for 5 more minutes. Full 10 minutes for alternate nostril breathing. And make sure you finish your last round with your awareness moving through the left nostril on an exhale. Make sure you finish the last round. The awareness moving through the left nostril as you exhale. At this point, if you feel like you need to make some adjustments with the physical body, seated position, go ahead and feel free to do that. Then settle back in. And let's take the attention now to the center of the brain. You can pick up on any subtle sensations or pulsations there at the center of the brain. Those two subtle channels that we've been working with alternate nostril breathing converge. And take your attention from the center of the brain now down the spine. So back toward the spine and then neck, down behind the sternum, past the navel, to the sacrum, and all the way to the tip of the tailbone at the base of the pelvis, where the second point there, these two subtle channels converge. So you can pick up on any subtle sensations or pulsations there, otherwise just keeping your attention drawn to the base of the pelvis. At this point, as you tend to focus more at the base of the pelvis, any subtle sensations that might occur along the spine from the base of the pelvis up to the center of the brain, allow yourself to take notice of, observe, without attachment, continue this observation without expectation. And let's take the attention outward just a bit on the next inhalation, so we're more aware of the space and the sounds around us. Feel the support of the floor of the chair underneath us, so we notice our body weight settling into spine and hips. Bring the palms together in front of the heart center and Anjali Mudra. Let's take a moment for reflection and gratitude. Anything that moves through our hearts and our minds, we'd like to acknowledge and give thanks for. Thank you for joining me today. I hope the practice is beneficial for you. You can continue to sit as long as it's comfortable for you, and I will see you next time. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always email us at info@tejasyogachicago.com. We'd love to have a conversation with you if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a great day or evening, and I'll see you next time.